Hello, Shalom Aleichem. It's Thursday night. Guten Erev Shabbos. So now we have another learning from the Sefer Rav Shalom from HaRav Shalom Adler. That's how we're talking. He's talking about this is Balak, and so Balak is saying to his princes and to his lieutenants to go to hire Bilam against the Bnei Yisrael, God forbid. So God forbid, and so the Baal Rav Shalom, he asked the question, why was Balak worried about the Bnei Yisrael attacking Moab? Hashem had commanded Yaakov Avinu. He commanded the Bnei Yisrael, Al tatzor es Moab. Do not go against Moab. Do not go against them and in any way. So why would the Bnei Yisrael attack Moab? So that's according to Balak. Anyway, let's go into it a little bit, and we'll see what it says in the Sefer Rav Shalom. Here, this is the Parsha here a little bit in the Parshas Balak. Vayar Balak ben Sipor Eskol Asher Oso Yisrael Lo'emori. And Balak, the son of Sipor, saw everything that Yisrael did to the Emori, that they were victorious against them. Vayagor Moav mifnei ha'am ma'od ki ravhu. So Vayagar Moab was afraid, because of the people, Ma'od, very afraid, Hiravu, because they were numerous, Vayakotz Moab, Mipnei Bnei Yisrael, and Moab was very agitated, because in front of the Bnei Yisrael. Vayomer Moab el Ziknei Medjan, Moab said to the lieutenants of Midian, the high-ranking people of Midian, Ata yelachachu hakohol, es kol sevivosenu, kilacho chashor es yerek hasada. Now the congregation, this congregation will lick up all of every place around it. They will consume every place around them, like an ox goes and licks up all of the vegetation of the sada, of the fields. Balak ben Sipor melech leMoav v'Esahi. Balak, the son of Sipor, was a king in Moab at that time. In other words, he wasn't really royalty, but for some reason he was appointed to be the king of Moab at that point. So anyway, so Moab is telling them to go to seek help against the Bnei Yisrael, God forbid. So anyway, let's take a look over here. Here, this is Parshas Balak. Vayagar Moab mipnei ha'am. Moab was very afraid, because of the people, because of the Bnei Yisrael, the Gomer, etc. And further on, Kasha, there's a question. Aloha Kadosh Baruch Hu, Siva al tatzor es Moab. Hashem commanded the Bnei Yisrael, do not go against Moab, do not cause them any tsar, any tribulation. Do not go against them. Ayin b'mefarshim, seeing them in Mefarshim. So Hashem had already said, don't go against Moab. So why would So why was Moab afraid that they were going to go against them? Beli Nira, and so according to him, it seems, according to the Baal Rav Shalom, Rav Shalom, the Sefer here, Beli Nira, the Moab lo haya misyarei mipnei bnei Yisrael. So it's that Moab was not afraid of the Bnei Yisrael, of the Yidden themselves, Hashomeim Lakol HaTorah, that listen to the voice of the Torah, whatever the Torah says they listen to. So it says, do not, Al Tatzoris Moab, do not go against Moab. So they would, of course, listen to that. He wasn't afraid about the Bnei Yisrael that listened to the voice of the Torah and they listen whatever it is. So they wouldn't harm Moab at all. Rak mipnei hapachusim shebaam. He was afraid of the people that were the lesser people in the people, the lesser people. In other words, they were not a little bit less. They came later on. They when the Yidden were going out of Mitzrayim, so they tagged along, sort of. So hapachusim shabam. They were a little bit less in the people, of a lesser tenor than the people that the real ones that listen to everything. Asher osim milchama neged ritzon manhigam. So these people, these pechusim, the ones that were of lesser status, so they would make a milchama. They would do a war neged ritzon manhigam, against the wishes of the people that lead them. Avor hanasam, for their own benefit. Lishalol shalol ka'asher asu ata hapachusim shebegarichenland. Okay, so they would go and they would make a milchama, a war against a land, so that they could go and share in the spoils. Ka'asher asu ato hapochasim, like right now they do the pochasim shebegarichenland, in Garichenland. With this we can do a little. Hashem can find out what this means. Shebegarichenland, sheitasfu kama alafim, that many thousands got together in Garichenland. V'arku milchama neged Yishmael melech Turkiya, and they went and they many thousands of them got together and they went and they made a milchama, a war against Yishmael, against Yishmael. Melech was king in Turkey. So in other words, he was afraid for those people that would. They didn't listen to what the manhigam, the people in charge, the people that were responsible, that were listening to Hashem, but they weren't listening to them. They sought for their own benefit, and they thought maybe it would be good to go attack Moab. God forbid. He was afraid for those people. V'zehu vayogor Moab mipnei ha'om. That's why it says that Moab was afraid mipnei ha'om, because of the people. Because of the people. It daika shehem hapachusim. So in other words, he didn't say mipnei bnei Yisrael, but it says mipnei ha'om, because of the people. Shehem hapachusim, the HaRav, and then there's the people that when the Bnei Yisrael were leaving, so they tagged along to be on the winning side, so to speak. Sheyatzu mi Mitzrayim, that the HaRav, the people that came, the other people that came from Mitzrayim, HaRav, that tagged along. Sheyatzu mi Mitzrayim, that left Mitzrayim. Aval mipnei bnei Yisrael lo yaru, but from the Bnei Yisrael, the actual Bnei Yisrael lo yaru, they were not afraid. He was not afraid. In other words, he wasn't afraid from the Erlich Yidden of the Bnei Yisrael, but he was afraid of the other people that do things that tag along after leaving Mitzrayim, and for their own benefit they might start a war, God forbid. Avam lepnei b'nei Yisrael lo yiru, but because of b'nei Yisrael lo yiru, they were not. He was not afraid. Lo yiru lahem. Mitzad ha'havtacha shel haborei shetziva lahem al tatzor es Moav. So, but the b'nei Yisrael, the Erlich Yidden of the b'nei Yisrael, lo yiru lahem. He wasn't afraid. Balak was not afraid of those people. The Erlich Yidden mitzad shehavtacha shel haborei, because of the havtacha, the promise that shel havtacha shel haborei, that Hashem said, Al tatzor es Moab, do not go against Moab, do not cause them any anguish at all. So this is the havtacha of the Borei. He told the Bnei Yisrael, do not touch Moab, do not touch Moab. So for the Erlich Yidden, he was not afraid. Al tatzor es Moab. So the Erlich Yidden, Bnei Yisrael, lo yaru lahem, he wasn't afraid. Mitzad ha'havtacha shel haborei, because of the havtacha, the promise of the Creator that said, do not cause any fight or disturbance against Moab. Shetziva lahem al tatzor es Moab. He commanded them to not touch Moab, do not cause them any tzar. I think this means v'dochek kitzas. Umidodi HaRav haGaon dikalama zal. Midodi, it might mean his uncle. His uncle. A dod is an uncle. HaRav haGaon dikalama. Is the Chron of the Bracha? The Rav, the Gaon of Kalamot, is the Chron of the Bracha. Zeichat Tzadik the Bracha. Shamati, he heard, Rav Shalom of Adler heard, that's all he heard, the Taretz al Zeh, Shemoav B'etzem lo hayavrak Medina Ketana, that really Moab was only a very small town, a small Medina, a small country. Rak Achrei HaMilchamos Asher Natzachu Lakchu Lahem Medinos Ketanos. And only after a few wars they were victorious against a few other Medinos. They took other small Medinos, other small little countries. V'histapechu l'Medina shelahem. V'histapechu l'Medina shelahem. And this might have to do with that they added it. Like Tosef. V'histapachu l'Medina shelahem, and they added the other Medinos to the Medina of Moab. V'nasa Medina Gedola, and so Moab became like a bigger country. But really, this was originally Moab was a smaller country. Only through the wars they became bigger. V'histapachu l'Medina shelahem. V'nasa Medina Gedola. So they added the other little countries to them. They became a bigger Medina, a bigger entity, a bigger country. L'chein yiru lahem ki hatzibu lo haya rak al Moab. So therefore, Balak was worried that the tzivui, the commandment of Hashem, was only to Moab, which was a very small country. Lo haya rak al Moab was only a small country. The etzem. Ketana, because it was very small. So in other words, it became a little bit diluted. It became diluted with other countries. So therefore, they were worried that it would have less of the Haftacha, the Hashem made this promise. Made more promise not to go against Israel, but Moab was a smaller country, and then there were other countries that that was, so it's only a smaller part of everything. And this is what it says. Ato now yelachaku hakahol as kol sebivosenu. Now the kohol, the congregation. Oh, in other words, it's a congregation of a few countries, Moab plus the various other countries that they conquered, and then they added them to their country. So the kohol, the congregation, will yelachaku. They will lick up like a. In other words, like an ox. It licks up all of the water. It licks up the vegetation. So they were worried that they were going to go against them also. They will go, and this congregation will go and lick up and swallow all of the all of the Saviva, that's the environment. In other words, everybody around them. Saviv is around them. Everybody around them, they're worried they're going to. So Daika below Moab B'etzem. So below Moab B'etzem, not Moab itself. In other words, he wasn't really worried about Moab itself, but he was worried that Moab had become a smaller part of the whole Kahol. The whole Kahol, and so he was worried about that. In other words, it wasn't Moab, but it was really worried. He was really worried about the other people. Below Moab B'etzem, and it was not really Moab itself anymore. We and we understand this. So anyway, here let's take a look. So here is the Rav Shalom, Sefer Rav Shalom, ala Torah u'Moadei Hashana, the Torah and the Moadei Hashana, and this is by HaRav Shalom Adler, Zatzal. Yav Bezdin, the Kodesh of Bezdin, Kila Kedisha, the head of the Bezdin of the Kila Kedisha, Saredne the Galil. Okay, thank you very much, and Yeshua's and Yefua's. Okay, thank you very much, and Yeshua's and Yefua's. Hashem should help the Bnei Yisrael, should help the Yidden in Eretz Yisrael, and the Yidden in Iran, and give refuos, give therapy to everyone, and Hashem should help, and things should be good from now on. And my good Shabbos, Kol Tov.